Had a star-crossed offseason already. Ricky Pearsall is the latest player to be injured. He's dealing with a PCL injury. The 49ers are concerned about it. Christian Kirk, their other wide receiver, has a strained calf. We know about Kyle Shanahan and his car accident. Take a look at all the players. Even their running back Jordan James has a fractured rib. Malik Mustafa, the safety, has a hamstring injury. Greeny, camp's been underway for a few days now.
Yes.
What's going on in San Francisco? It's another substation mystery.
The team that always gets banged up is now hurt before the season even starts. Jordan, give me a practice proclamation.
The steel curtain is back, baby. Yes,
Wow.
I know they're the highest paid defense in the NFL. They sure didn't look like it last year. They were 17th in points per game, 29th in pass yards per game. TJ Watt, finally, he's moving around. He's not just on that right side. He's on the left side. You got Nick Herbig and Alex Highsmith as well that are all going to be on the field at some point at the same time in this new defense under Patrick Graham. I like what I see so far.
That's really obviously a key in Pittsburgh. And then Hawk, you're talking about the Seahawks. What's your proclamation?
Absolutely. The Seahawks are set up to repeat better than any Super Bowl champ ever. This is the first time I can remember in a long time, if ever, that the champion from just 5 months ago is such a consensus underdog, and I can't help but feel like this has all but completely eliminated any potential for a Super Bowl hangover. The boys are ready.
I think that's a very interesting idea. Like normally the Super Bowl champion is the team that comes in. They get everybody shot. They're the team everybody's talking about. But with what the Rams have done this offseason, adding Myles Garrett and likely adding Aaron Donald, it's hard to be the Super Bowl champs and fly under the radar. They sort of are flying under the radar a little bit.
Well, listen, they are in the Pacific Northwest, and it feels like they're always an afterthought out there for whatever reason. Last year, they were able to be the best team in football, win the Super Bowl, and it wasn't like we took notice of them till later in the year when they beat the Rams. And now maybe they're doing the same thing. I think it's going to be tougher to do it this year because they are the defending champs and because the Rams are in their division and the Rams are that much better. But Seattle is a formidable team, and they get to do their work in a quiet spot where not a lot of people notice.
I got to think they like that. I think if I'm them, that's exactly the way you want it to be. Okay, to me, the most interesting thing I saw yesterday came from the camp of the New York Giants, which is being held in West Virginia, of course. Malik Nabers is back on the practice field. This video, Shefty was making note of it this morning in our meeting. He looked good. We all watched him in that softball game video recently and thought, this looks terrible. Malik Nabers looked really good, recovering from that torn right ACL. Jackson Dart, who hardly shared the field with him last year, spoke glowingly yesterday.
Well, he definitely has a presence about him. There's an aura that he has on the field that is exhilarating, makes me happy, makes everybody happy just to see him out there.
So lest you forget, because it feels like about 1,000 years ago, Nabers got hurt in Dart's first start.
Right.
They played together for basically one half of one game. So we've never seen what they can be. I want to start with the reporting before I get to the fascinating insight. Shefty, what do we know about Malik Nabers' recovery?
They have a strict plan, and obviously he's coming off a serious injury, so you want to make sure there are no setbacks, there's no swelling, there are no issues. They're going to stick to their plan. But it's hard not to watch the way he moved yesterday and think this is a player who wouldn't play on opening night against the Dallas Cowboys. I know we're 6+ weeks away, but he was out there moving around considerably better than he was reported to be at the Giants charity softball game this summer, considerably better than we thought he would be. And now he's moving around. They've got the plan. They're not going to overdo it. They're not going to rush him back. You can't say he'll be ready just yet, but that looks like a player who's on his way back.
Yes, for those of you who didn't see it, there was this charity softball game video, and he walked or something, and he just hobbled up the first base line, and we all thought to ourselves, that looks just awful. Now, Hawk, yours is an experienced eye, mine is not. That video, I guess I want to ask you the question this way. How good did that look? It looked awfully good to me. What did it look like to you?
Yeah, it looked awesome. It looked awesome. I mean, it's cool that the ACL injury is not what the ACL used to be. And I still think in some people's minds, because a lot of us haven't experienced an ACL, that this is like an extremely catastrophic injury. You don't want it, but you definitely have the ability to get close to 100%, which wasn't the case before. For someone like Malik Nabers, who is so special in change of direction, so the risk is high that if it knocks it off at all, it could change the way he plays. But when I look at this video and realizing he's not even 100% yet, that has to bode well for this offense because it gives you a 3-level receiver. You get 3 receivers in one because you get instant offense, getting the ball in his hands. He's great intermediate, and he's great down the field. And to your point, Greeny, as much as we loved Jackson Dart a year ago, we did not see him with that element in this offense.
That's exactly right. And so then I turn to you, Jordan. I was reading your notes this morning. You are very high on what these Giants could be.
Yeah, if you just look at who they were last year without Malik Nabers, right? He missed all of Jackson Dart's time last year. They were in 7 one-score games, and they lost all those. And that was without their best receiver. That was without Cam Scadaboo for 9 games. They add Isaiah Likely at tight end. The weapons around Jackson Dart in year 2 are so much better. They were a top 15 offense with Jackson Dart last year, 22 points per game. They're a top 10 offense with Malik Nabers, with Isaiah Likely, a group of veteran receivers that kind of round that room out with a healthy Cam Scadaboo. This is a team that will be top 10 on offense and make a playoff run with healthy pieces on offense.
You didn't even mention that they hired John Harbaugh to coach this team.
Yeah.
You didn't even mention that. So if there are 7 one-score games, and if, and this is the big if Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo and Malik Nabers stay healthy, if those guys are healthy, this team will go to the playoffs.
Yes.
They will go to the playoffs.
This team will go to the playoffs.
If those players stay healthy, this will be a playoff team.
I want to talk about Dart because he's obviously the most important piece of all of it. I'm a huge believer. I'll tell anyone who will listen, you could just sometimes see someone's got it. He's got it. He needs to stay healthy. I don't want to even have the conversation anymore. We've had it ad nauseum, how he needs to take better care of himself and all that. And hopefully John Harbaugh is drilling that into his head. But when you analyze him after 1 year of play, Jordan, through your outstanding quarterback's eyes, what are you seeing?
Yeah, you see a fearless player, and that's not just with his running ability, because you saw that in college. He's willing to take hits, and I agree, needs to take less of those. But he's not afraid to push the ball downfield. He anticipates extremely well. He sees defenses extremely well for a rookie last year. And what I love about the pieces around him is Matt Nagy is offensive coordinator, replaces Mike Kafka. Both those guys have roots under Andy Reid with the Chiefs. So the verbiage and the concepts are not going to change very much. And that's really your biggest concern for a young quarterback in year 2. Oh, a whole new system, whole new verbiage, and new pieces. He's going to be ahead of the curve there. And if everyone's healthy, Jackson Dart's going to make some waves.
Hawk, I got people talking about the Giants and the playoffs up here.
Come on.
What are your thoughts?
Man, I wish I was as confident as these guys to say this is going to be a playoff team. I think they will be better. I think John Harbaugh running that operation is a godsend for the New York Giants organization. I do feel like these are young players that, like every piece of young player that is like scattered throughout the core, there's going to take time to get them there. And I want to see how specifically, you mentioned Matt Nagy. To be honest, that's my question mark for this offense. How is he going to incorporate this plan with these guys? Because Jackson Dart's rushing ability is what makes him special. But the reality is he was in the concussion tent 5 out of the 10 games that he played last year, including the last preseason game. So how do you keep that element? How do you incorporate Nabers? How do you get Isaiah Likely in there in a way where it flows? And I just think it's going to take a little bit of time. And I'm not that confident that they'll figure that out before it's too late for next year's playoff push.
You never know what a season is going to shape up to be. So to be projecting how hard the first 6 games look based upon what we know in July is probably a fool's errand. But that looks like a fairly manageable early start to the season. The Dallas game feels enormous, as it always does. That's the traditional Sunday night opener. Giants and Cowboys. Seems that they play that game every year. At the Rams, okay, that's brutal. Then you see some games on there that look like they are manageable. They could get off to it. Schefter, you're shaking your head.
Well, no, it's the kind of thing where if they win the opening night game against the Cowboys,
now we're excited.
Now you're excited. If they lose, now you're looking at going 0-2, and it's like, oh boy, I don't care what those teams look like on the schedule. 0-2, you're in a hole, you're digging out. It points out the importance of that opening game. I always feel like that opening game, they're all just one game. But that opening week just kind of sets a tone for the season. And when you lose there, you fall behind the 8 ball. And then to know that you have at the Rams in week 2, you could really fall behind the 8 ball.
The reason, number one, that first game looks so attractive, though, everyone's looking at Dallas going, man, that offense. Yeah, but that defense has a lot of pieces that need to come together, and that's week 1.
Okay, so maybe it takes them a little time.
And that's what I'm saying. That defense will be better, but week 1, that's the time to get the Cowboys if you're a young offense.
We will get to the Cowboys a little later in the program because we're us. We always do. Coming up next, however.